I gave an overview of the financial system and the financial market. So the phrase financial market actually is quite generic and very broad. And a financial market can take many different forms. So for example, a bond market is one type of financial market, and the stock market is another type of financial market. We can also have so-called foreign exchange market, housing market, real estate market, financial derivative market. So financial market is free, it's very generic, it's very broad. So later I'm going to talk about specific on the bond market and the stock market. But in this section, I'm going to talk about the relationship between saving and the investment in the financial system. So I'm going to start with a very specific an example. So this is Google Street View. Can you guess where is this place? And you can see it's Las Vegas, Nevada, right? So this is the Vegas Strip, the very famous Vegas Strip going. This is facing the northeast direction. If you drive along the boulevard, right, you'll get to downtown. And this tower, I think that's the Stratosphere Casino Resort. And this is Circus Casino. It's lots of fun, right? There's another one. I want you to take a look at this building. This was supposed to be another major, like a mega casino resort. This resort was supposed to open in about 10 years ago, in 2008 or 2009. So there's a business group, right? If they want to invest in Las Vegas, they want to build another mega casino resort. And this project is going to cost about, so for example, $2 billion US. And that investment business group may not have $2 billion cash available. Remember, this business group, they want to build another casino resort, right? They need $2 billion US cash. So they want to borrow money. They are on the demand side of money. So how can they get $2 billion US? They can get a loan, right? Business loan from a commercial bank. So for example, Citibank. A commercial bank like Citibank is a financial intermediary. Where does Citibank get its money? Well, Citibank, right, also offered checking savings account service to individual depositors, right? So individual customers, right? If your neighborhood is served by a Citibank, you can open checking savings accounts there, right? That's how Citibank takes money from the supply side of funds. Remember, who are the supply side of funds? Individual savers, right? Institutional savers, right? If you have some extra cash, you have some spare cash, right? You want to open a checking account, a savings account with Citibank. You are supplying your money to a commercial bank, a financial intermediary. So you are on the supply side of money or the supply side of funds. Okay, suppose we have a business group. This group needs $2 billion US to build another mega casino resort in Las Vegas. So this business group can borrow $2 billion from Citibank, right? So that's the purpose for a commercial bank. Commercial bank also gives a loan to business investors, business groups. So, but some of you may have heard of the major financial crisis about a decade ago in 2008 and 2009. Many commercial banks, they went to bankrupt or they had a problem. So for example, Citibank didn't get bankrupt, but the Citibank experienced a major problem. So in this case, if you work for the business group, you want to get a $2 billion US loan, right, to complete a major casino resort from Citibank. During a financial crisis, a commercial bank does not have enough funds to lend, to give out loans. And that's why the name financial crisis implies. In this case, if Citibank, a commercial bank, has a problem giving out loans, it hurts this business group who plans to build another casino resort, right? So if this business group cannot get a $2 billion loan from Citibank, they cannot build this casino resort. So that's why this project called the stop back in the year 2008. And this project basically got abandoned all the way until I think around the year 2017. So in the year 2017, another business group who had successfully obtained a loan from probably not Citibank, from other financial intermediary, financial institutions, right? So now they are on progress to complete this project. This is another mega casino resort in Las Vegas. Okay, so you can see this casino resort, $2 billion, right? This is investment, and the investment is on demand side of the money market or funds market. And who on the supply side? Individual savers, right? Those people who have opened a checking saving accounts at Citibank. So saving is on the supply side. Investment is on the demand side. And they are linked with each other through a financial intermediary, a commercial bank, in this case, a Citibank. So in this section, I want to talk about the relationship between investment and saving in the economy. So remember this equation when we talk about the GDP. We can calculate GDP by a so-called expenditure approach, right? So this letter Y represents GDP. GDP equals what? C, consumption plus investment plus government spending plus NX, net exports, right? That is export minus what? Import. This is how we can calculate GDP according to the so-called expenditure approach. But this represents the open economy. So what's an open economy? Countries trade with each other. You buy stuff, you sell stuff to foreign nations, right? So that's called an open economy. So we want to make things simple. We don't care about open economy. We assume we are in a closed economy. So what's a closed economy? We do not have trade. In this case, if we don't trade, we don't have export, we don't have import, right? So 0, 0, 0 minus 0, 0. So in a closed economy, if we don't trade, this NX, net export, is equal to 0. So this equation is reduced to GDP Y equals consumption plus investment plus government spending. Okay. Next, we want to do some simple mathematical manipulation. I want to move consumption and the government spending to the left-hand side of the equation. So I'm going to subtract consumption and investment on both sides of this equation. Sorry, subtract consumption and the government spending. Here you see, right? Y minus C minus G equals C plus I plus G minus C minus G, right? So this one canceled out. This one canceled out, right? So what do we have here? We have GDP minus consumption minus government spending equals what? Investment. So remember what the GDP represents. GDP is associated with income. How rich a country is, right? The US GDP in the year 2019, 21 trillion US dollars. Remember, you can think of GDP 19 trillion US dollars as the salary USA has received in the year 2019. So GDP Y can be thought of as income. So your total income, your salary, minus your consumption, how much money you spend on food, water, entertainment, right? Minus government spending, the amount of money you pay to the government. The leftover is called what? It's called saving. Leftover money, right? So here, saving equals what? Investment. Remember, we still have investment on the right-hand side. So from this manipulation, we can get in a closed economy, saving, total saving is equal to what? Total investment. And the saving is on the supply side of money. Investment is on the demand side of money in the financial market. Okay, so now from this relationship, let me do a simple mathematical trick. Now let me introduce a new letter, capitalized T, which stands for government tax revenue. Okay, so what do we have here? So we have savings, right? Investment equals saving equals GDP, which is also income, minus consumption, minus government spending, right? So now I want to do a mathematical trick. I'm going to continue from here. I'm going to add plus tax minus tax. So you can see I plus T minus T, they cancel out in reality, right? So this is just a mathematical trick. But from here, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to group things together. So GDPY minus consumption, your salary minus how much money you spend on food, entertainment, right? Also minus tax. You pay tax, right? This part, and this part. I group them together. This one side, right? I use a pair of parentheses. Plus, we still have a positive T and negative G, right? So we have T, let me use another pair of parentheses, T minus G here. So your salary minus your consumption expenditure minus the tax you pay, the leftover amount of money is what? Is your saving. But in this case, it is called what? Private saving, the first component. The second component, T, tax revenue, tax, right? Who collects tax? Government, not mafia, right? That's probably in other nations, the mafia collects tax. So tax represents government revenue, and the G is government expenditure, government spending, right? So government tax revenue minus government spending. If this number is positive, it represents the saving accrued to the government. So this part is called public saving. So here we are using a mathematical trick to decompose total saving equals private saving plus public saving. Okay, so take a look at this part. If T minus G is positive, that means the public saving is positive, right? This means the government is running what? So-called budget surplus. That means government revenue is greater than its expenditure. If government tax revenue is less than government expenditure, this case T minus G negative, public saving is negative number. That means the government now is running a so-called what? Budget deficit.